Hi, and welcome to Pearls with Penjani. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. Today's pearl comes from an experience that I had several years ago. You see, I run a business in the events industry, and one of those years I had traveled to South Africa, and when I came back, little did I know that I was getting back into a very, very terrible circumstance. I realized that my car had been stolen. I was broken. I mean, think about it. How many times do you ever experience something like that, a car being stolen from you? In that moment, my world felt small. I felt like I was this girl who knew so many people, and I thought that it would be easy to get help, but everything just, it was just dark, and my world felt small. And so in that place of mourning and crying and following up with the police, and nothing was coming up, guess one of the things that was so important for me and carried me through was, yes, indeed, the support of my family, but indeed a lot of prayer and crying, if I can be honest. I used to pray about this every day for the next couple of weeks. I don't even know whether to talk about it in terms of praying or crying, but anyway, for me, my prayer is characterized with being very real with God. And so on one of those days, because now this praying and crying had gone on and on for several days, on one of those days, while I was on the road and doing my thing and praying and crying, and I can't even see the road ahead of me because my eyes are so filled with tears, I remembered so strongly that I sensed the presence of God overwhelm me. And I knew that that day was going to be the last day that I was going to cry about that circumstance like that. And lo and behold, once I said amen and, wiped the tears from my eyes, believe it or not, my phone rings and I get this phone call from the couple who I had bought this vehicle from. This vehicle had belonged to a pastor of a particular church and his wife, and so the change of ownership had not yet been done. And so when the police found the car, they called the church, and the pastor called me, and they said, "Well, I've just got a call from the police. Your car has been found." And I couldn't believe it. I was like one who dreamt. And guess what? Prayer. God came through in the most miraculous way. And so I'm reminded of one of these songs on my album titled Fight to Win. In Exodus 14 and verse 14, it talks about us not even having to fight in these battles, to stand still because God will fight. And also somewhere in Psalms, it talks about how God, He hears the prayers of His children and He responds to us. He delivers us from all our troubles. And so if you are there today, stuck in some situation that makes you feel so overwhelmed, makes you feel like you're not getting the kind of help that you need from people that you know, could we change the strategy a little bit? Let's take your focus away from your circumstance and the people in your vicinity and in your circle. Let's take the focus to God. Bring the vulnerability. He can handle it. He can handle the pain. He can handle the tears. And the best part is that He is more than able. And when He fights to win. He wins like nobody else can. So God bless you, and I pray that this pearl blessed your heart today. Join me next week for another Pearl with Penjani.